Hey guys, so this is the first episode that this podcast was actually intended for. All the preseason stuff was kind of basically just shaking out the logistics of it, getting all the equipment dialed and making sure it sounded pretty okay. The main thing for this podcast is to chat with riders on the Monday, maybe Tuesday morning of the races, just to kind of let them sleep on the event and kind of give us some insight and kind of build the storyline a little bit more on the days after the race. So on this episode, we caught up with a couple riders and also a couple team managers, some that we've never heard from, with the Dusty Rocks team owner Travis DeGlow, and then one we've heard lots from in the past is Kevin Tyler with MX101. Obviously, they're leaving with 2 red plates and 1 DNF with Jess Pettis. Lots of rumors and things floating around about the team and some stuff. So we'll chat with him, try to clear up some things and see what he's got to say. And then also Kawasaki's SSR, Steve Sims. We'll chat with him and see what he's thinking after round 1 with his 2 Americans and Seb making his debut in the 450 class. And then some riders. We'll talk with Wyatt Kerr, who's currently driving to Manitoba with his new Guaranteed Comfort team after a solid first round, which he hasn't had in a while, which is good to see him just get that foundation done, get the season started off right. We move on with Jordan Jarvis, who, really exciting storyline, just wondering how she's going to pull off these first 2 rounds with racing on Friday in the U.S., Saturday in the U.S., and then Sunday in Canada. This weekend coming up, she'll be racing in Colorado at Thunder Valley, and then she'll be making the trip to Manitoba, flying into an airport that's 2 hours away from the track, and all the logistics of what goes on in that. We chatted with Kaylie Kerr, who got her second career moto win. I guess technically third. She got 2 moto wins at Walton last year, so third moto win of her career. Coming in hot on the MX101 bike. We also talked to Zach Uvumzef, who had a amazing start in the second moto, running in third for a lot of the time, which was really exciting. The kid's had some tough luck with his health the last couple of years and kind of all watched him struggle because he didn't hide it, which was really cool. He kind of built a story around it. And then this year, really spending a lot of time with these daily Instagram vlogs with the privateer life, doing a really good job. And it clearly paid off with his Mr. Lube collaboration, which is a really big thing for the sport. Like it's good for him, and it's just good for everyone for them to have their eyes on it and see what's going on. I think that's it for this episode, unless anything last minute kind of pops up. And if you hear it in here, well, didn't have it planned. It's in there now. Yeah, overall the weekend was pretty good. Track was great. Rain came out of nowhere. It was wild. It just poured down for a bit, which honestly was best case scenario for the track. It made a perfect Moto2s. The riders might not say perfect. They would say rough and tough, which that's a national. That's what it should be, in my opinion. I shouldn't be sharing my opinions on here, but there's one for you. Yeah, so let's get into what the riders and team managers have to say about round 1 and what they're expecting going into round 2 and any storylines that we need to be following moving forward. Enjoy. All right, let's kick this one off with Wyatt Kerr. Wyatt, like I said earlier, he's driving from Calgary to Manitoba with his Guaranteed Comfort team. He went 7-6 this weekend for 6th overall. That's a great start for him on a track where he'll mention in this interview where he's broken his back in the past on this track, which can't be easy to jump back on and try to race at the highest level. So here's the chat we had with Wyatt Kerr. How was your motos? And just give us a little rundown. If there's anything that happened kind of in it that maybe we didn't see, let us know.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, Moto 1 was all right. I mean, I had a kind of tough qualifying session. I went for a couple fast laps, had a tip over, but Moto 1 was pretty solid, I guess, to say the least. I started just outside top 10 and was able to manage to get to 6. Had kind of a run-in with some lap riders. Obviously, with track conditions, it's hard to tell who's who for blue flags. So nothing wrong with that. Just it is what it is. So we're back to 7th, Moto 1. Moto 2, it took me a little bit to settle into pace. I mean, this track's never been my forte, and it kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth just from what happened a few years ago. So
Mhm.
truthfully, like going 7-6 on the day for sixth overall, I'm happy to get out of Calgary with kind of being able to continue on with my health and just make sure I'm good for round two. So
Yeah, for sure. It's a solid foundation for the rest of the season.
yeah, and I think I mean for the last I've been racing for the pro season for like 4 years. I've been here 3 times, and obviously I blew my back out a while ago, and this is the best round one I've ever had. So I'm really I'm quite happy with that, and I'm excited to keep building.
Yeah, that's a great start for sure. And you were definitely in like a pack, like almost like probably both motos, right? Like that was
Yeah,
good
like
racing.
like the 4, 5, 6, 7 were like all pretty tight throughout the whole race, which was kind of cool. Like I couldn't really tell if anyone was behind me, to be honest. Like I was so focused in on my race and not thinking behind. And like I made sure like there's a couple times in my head where I was like, I want to look behind me so bad, but I'm like, don't race backwards, just race
Mhm.
forward. So I always get my sights on the next guy up. So I think I had more. I just no, I definitely did have more. I just was like I didn't want to force it too much with how the conditions were,
Yeah.
especially like I don't think anyone could have straight aired the 110 more than me. I just was like every time I came up to that thing, I was just like straight on. I was like I'm not sliding up this pace, just straight up.
Yeah, that's
So
smart though. That's championship thinking. Do you like just curious, do you watch like the broadcast back?
I will be this week. I want to. I heard they were calling me big, and I don't know. I don't know if they're calling me like Big Fit or I don't know. They're just one of my buddies was like, "Did you listen to the broadcast?" I was like, "No, I haven't listened." So I wanna go back and take a listen to it. But
Yeah, it's for sure definitely interesting to see like you said, like I don't think racing in that battle, you don't really see it fully, and I think you can learn a lot and do a lot with that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, 100%. A lot of times I think, like, I mean, last year I went back and watched a couple ones, and I'm like, "What am I doing?" I'm like, "I know there's better lines out there." I'm just stuck in the mind of just like, "All right, keep going." But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, what's the plan for the week? What do you like? What obviously Manitoba next weekend? What do you do between now and then?
So yeah, obviously today we're driving to Manitoba. We'll be there probably around midnight. Like I said, like I'd like to be there earlier, but it is what it is. We're gonna ride at Pilot Mountain tomorrow. I think after that, probably ride at Riders on Wednesday,
Sick.
and then move in Thursday. Make sure the bikes are ready to go. I have to do some work on my main bike, like the one with the polished frame. I didn't end up riding that bike. I had some issues in qualifying, but I knew what I kind of had an idea what was going on before the race, and I checked it and it was good, and then when I'm qualifying, it was not good. So I know what I got to do to fix that bike, and then we'll be good to go.
Yeah, just the classic first round stuff. How
Yeah,
how has it been with the team? Like, obviously, you came from maybe a little bit bigger of a team last year, but this year's like more of a grassroots kind of program. Chris is very adamant about we're here for fun, but he's got some riders on there that are very, very
yeah.
result
Yeah.
driven. So it's a good contrast, I think, between the two of you guys. But how have you been liking it so far?
It's been good. I rode with Chris leading like I think it was 2022. I rode for Chris on a KTM and it was white.
Mm-hmm.
Before I went to priority, but it's been good. It's definitely been a big change of pace, a lot more kind of work on my end. Just making sure things are ready and like the majority of the packing was kind of on me and just getting things together. So it was a lot more work. I had to put some things in the back corner, but I'm definitely, I feel like I've never been in such a good headspace, and it, it kind of gives me a different perspective and a different respect for a lot of what these people are doing. Like you said, it is more grassroots. Chris cares about the riders. He wants them to have fun and have a good time. And when they're not, it's a hard time in the pits, I guess you could say like if they're beating themselves up. So the biggest thing is just to keep a positive mind frame around everybody and just know it's gonna be okay. Like Chris's big thing is not putting more pressure on the riders because he knows and believes that hey, we're all our hardest critics. So what's the point in me putting more weight on your shoulders if you guys are already going to beat yourselves up? So he's trying to bring us up as we're kind of kicking ourselves in the butt. Like, come on, I should have done this, could have done that. But it's been good. Like I said, there is more work on my end. I'm looking after my bikes. I built them this winter, and truthfully, like I am very happy I did. The bikes are amazing. I'm really happy with my Hondas, and my suspension's great. The motor pack is great. Like I said, it's a really, really, really good setup. I think it's one of the best ones I've ever had. So I'm quite happy with everything on that side of things.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. That's the thing. Some people really strive in those environments, and I think honestly, the team this year, it's three riders that really do strive in that kind of place, which is cool to see. What are we going into the rest of the season kind of looking at and like thinking our goals now? We kind of have the foundation now. It's kind of go for more or kind of steady Eddie.
I think the biggest thing is, I mean, there's a lot of heavy hitters in both classes. I mean,
Mhm.
450 is a lot of guys, 250 is same deal. I think the biggest thing to focus on for me a position and just kind of maintain through that, because this is, I mean, we only have 8 rounds, which isn't a lot compared to the US side of things or even the Aussie. But the big thing is you need to make all those 8 rounds count. You can't miss a moto. You can't have these big outliers and these drastic changes to your finishes. So I think if I can maintain that 6 to 3, like my goal is podiums. Like that's what I want. That's what I know I can get and know what I can achieve. But right now, like I said, the West Coast, these style tracks, I know I strive in the sand. I'm ready to get back home for that, but I need to make sure the bikes are good, I'm good, and I need to manage because I
Mhm.
mean we can see it with, like I said, this past condition with the lappers. Everything plays a factor in where your results are going to be, where your bike is. It might not be your fault, but something could happen. So I think just riding smart and managing the season the best you can, and that's kind of my plan.
Yeah, that's for sure a smart mindset going in. Have you ever been to Pilot Mound?
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of my favorite tracks. I
Oh,
love
sweet.
it.
Oh, that's good to
Yeah,
hear. That's great. And I
yeah,
haven't fully looked at the weather, but it's looking good. So it should be a good weekend coming up.
yeah,
Perfect. I think that's all the time we'll take from you. Appreciate the time, and we'll see you this weekend.
yeah. Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Next up, we'll have Jordan Jarvis, who. All right. So this next one, we'll hear from Jordan Jarvis. Unfortunately, right after we hung up the phone from this, everything changed. So after this interview's over, I'll give a little update on her travel plans for Manitoba, which just adds to the story on how fast everything's changing with this program. It's a lot of logistics going into trying to race these two series, especially at these first 2 rounds. So let's hear from Jordan, and then at the end, I'll follow up and give a little update. Because honestly, from now to the end of that, it might change again. Who knows? Here's Jordan Jarvis. All right, tell us about your day. How was Moto 1, Moto 2 qualifying? How was flying in? Start from the beginning, like start from leaving Hangtown.
Yeah, so my second mode on Hangtown was done by like 3:30, and my flight was at 6. So they started boarding at like 5, I don't know, 5:25 or something like that. I don't know when it started boarding, but the airport was about a 40-minute drive. So we were like, this needs to be a quick transition. So we had everything packed up. When I came off the track, we just had to load the bike up. I had enough time to grab the water hose, rinse off, get changed real quick, or at least partially get changed. Head to the airport. So 3:30 is when I got off. An hour later, I was sitting at my gate at the airport. So thankfully, there was no traffic, and the TSA lines were non-existent, so that made it a lot easier. But we were preparing for the worst, obviously.
Yeah.
So no time to rest, no time to take a break, get food, or anything like that. Get on the flight, landed in Vancouver, had about a 3-hour layover. At that point, I think I was just completely out of it. I was drifting by on just autopilot at that point. Got on the plane, I landed, I had to get an Uber back to the hotel. I checked the Outlaw sitting on the plane. It was like $30 to get from the airport to the hotel. So I was like, okay. I needed a card that was in my bag, so I waited until I got out to where they picked us up, and it went from $30 to $60. So I was like, okay, F that. I'm trying Lyft. Tried Lyft. It was cheaper. It was like $35, $40 or something like that. So I used Lyft. The guy was 10 minutes away when he started, and within 5 minutes, I don't know what he was doing, but he ended up like almost 40 minutes away. So I was getting frustrated because at this point it's 2 a.m. I ended up canceling that. I went back to Uber. The price was back down to $30, so I grabbed an Uber, ended up making it to the hotel by 2:30 and probably in bed and asleep by like 2:45. I had to wake up at 7 the next morning, get to the track, get everything ready to go, everything like that. Qualifying went well. P1. Went down for the first moto. Having a little bit of a clutch issue, just running the stock clutch, but we're going to get that sorted out this week.
Mm-hmm.
The bike was just kind of creeping on the line, and the clutch was getting hot and stuff like that, and just didn't engage great off the line, but we're going to get it figured out. Unfortunately, it just gave me a bad start considering it was on concrete, and I spun. Ended up getting into a pileup. The bike did not want to go into neutral, so it didn't want to start because I couldn't get it into neutral. So I was down for a little bit. Ended up figuring it out, calming down a little bit, getting it in neutral, doing what I needed to. Was like 40-something seconds behind or something.
Yeah, way
and back. Yeah, it was pretty far back. I could see Kaylie hitting the tabletop on the far side as I was coming around the start. So I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be a long race.
That's a long moto.
Yeah. So I just started clicking laps off and stuff like that, and I knew Kaylie was pretty far up there, so my goal was to try and get second. Second's as good as a first in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
I got close. I got pretty close to Jamie by the end of it, but not close enough. I ended up getting third on the moto. Not quite where I wanted to, but I made it an interesting race, I guess, for everybody. So there's that. Second moto, not the best start again. Clutch still heated up, but not too bad. It did rain after, actually at the end of our moto, it started raining. And it rained for a while, and the track got pretty gnarly, especially when it stopped, and the ruts were just deep, choppy, kind of slimy if you get out of the rut. So it was challenging. I just took my time. I was in third, so I was right there. I just didn't want to make any big mistakes with how gnarly the track was. So I gave it a couple laps for me to figure out a couple of lines and feel comfortable. Started pushing and coming up out of Shaw Valley. A rock came off the back end of one of their bikes and hit my throttle cable / throttle tube and twisted it like 45 degrees back.
Oh.
I was like, oh gosh, I don't know what to do with this. This is goofy as shit. I don't know how to ride like this.
Oh no.
So I pumped up kind of on my right side because of it. But eventually I was able to find a spot where I could hit it back forward.
Okay.
But I ended up getting into the lead the next lap in that same section, and then I ended up falling. The front end completely missed a rut, I guess. I don't know, because it was one of those crashes where it was like, okay, I'm upright, I'm riding, and then, oh my God, I'm looking at the dirt.
Yeah, they got it on the broadcast, and it was just like your front wheel just missed the rut just a little bit.
Yeah, it was super quick. It came out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, okay. I was a little upset with myself. I was like, yeah, well, there's that race. I think we had like 3 laps left to go or something.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to push and try not to make any more big mistakes and go down. I think it was like 2 laps to go or something like that. Maybe it was 3. I'm not sure. But I don't know what I did differently in Shaw Valley, but I swear I ended up making up like 5 seconds in warm up. It wasn't 5 seconds, but it
Pretty close.
seemed like it was 5 seconds in
Yeah.
warm up. I went from not being close to being right up on them
Yeah.
in Shaw Valley. So yeah, again, an interesting race. I made the pass with like 3 turns to go,
Mm-hmm.
and not only did I get the win, but it also gave me the overall. So good way to go. I got a cool cowboy hat to add to my collection, and a belt buckle. So some definitely unique trophies. They're going to be hanging up on my wall here shortly. Eventually, once I go home after this 4-week trek of being away from the house.
That's so sweet. That's a heck of a weekend for sure. Definitely even starting on probably Thursday, doing prep and everything, getting to Hangtown. Can you tell us a little bit logistically how that's working? So you have a bike in the States, also a Dusty Rocks bike. That how is that getting from round to round, and how are you going back and forth? Like, you're flying in from different places, landing in other places. Like, logistically, how's that working?
It's making it very interesting. 'Cause I'm flying from round to round. For the most part, anyway. Walton, I'll end up driving. But the rest of them, I'm flying. It's tough for these first 2 rounds because they do overlap with the races in the States.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a Dusty Rocks bike in the States as well. Obviously, it's Canada, so that part's making it easier. We had some bike issues before the weekend started last weekend, so that made it tough. But we got it all figured out, so hopefully that's going to be a lot easier, and we can just, go practice this week and show up and ride and not have to worry about tearing bikes apart in the States. Otherwise, though, that part should be pretty simple. The travel back and forth is a little stressful. At least this next weekend can be really stressful.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it a little bit, but my initial plan was to fly out about the same time as I did this past weekend. But they just sent the riders the new plan or the schedule for next weekend in Colorado. And for whatever reason, something to do with TV time or something, they flipped the 250s and the 450s. So the 450s go first next week, and there's no intermission. So we will be the last moto on the track at Thunder Valley again this weekend, like we did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be about 5 o'clock, and my flight left at like 5:30. So I spent a portion of the day yesterday at the race trying to figure out a way to make everything work so I didn't have to miss a moto anywhere. But we figured it out. I'm going to make it work. Instead of flying from Denver to the airport in Canada, I'm going to go from Denver to North Dakota and get a rental car and drive from North Dakota to the track and back.
Oh man, logistical nightmare right there.
Yeah, it's gonna be another long weekend.
But then after this, you're good to go. It's all like you'll fly in Saturday morning or Friday night, and you're there for
the most
weekend.
of it. Yeah, the only other ones that might be tight are the ones that are right around Loretta's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The one before Loretta's won't be too bad, but it's the one after Loretta's that'll be tight. Like flying in Saturday night again.
Yeah.
But otherwise, less stress.
Yeah, it'll work out. There's people that race Loretta's and drive back and make it for Walton. So
yeah.
So lots of time, I'm sure. That's exciting. So
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. And I reached out to Gary Joe to see if they could make the women's last moto on Friday. So we just have like an early award ceremony sometime Saturday, and I could get out of there at a decent time and fly up. So hopefully they're able to make that happen and make that part at least a little bit easier too.
Yeah, that would be ideal. That's gonna be a wild schedule, but this one was probably the worst one because you were getting in at 2 a.m., getting to the hotel at like 2:30, probably not sleeping until 3. So
this
the
next
next
one's
one,
probably gonna be about the same.
yeah, I guess. Do you still fly out? Oh yeah, I guess you're gonna fly out pretty late. Oh yeah, this one's gonna be tight too. The good thing is no matter what, if you would have flown into Winnipeg, it's a 2-hour drive to the track. So now North
Yeah.
Dakota, 3 hours. It's still a drive, but it's pretty close to what it would be. It's just a little bit later in the day than you would have. As long as everything goes good at the border. This is an exciting story to follow.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I can always stop and shut my eyes for a little bit if I need to. This is not the first crazy road trip that I've done. We've done some crazy stuff before. Maybe I'll see if I can just skip out on the riders meeting so I can get another half hour of sleep or something.
Yeah, there's always exceptions as candidates lose. Just make sure you get it in writing. That's my recommendation. That's pretty exciting. So logistically, where's your dad right now? Like your dad's driving to Colorado?
Yeah, so he really should have been pretty close by now, but in the midst of me trying to figure out how I was going to make next weekend work, I was also getting text from him that he had a blowout in the van.
Oh no!
And he couldn't get a tire, so he was sitting in Salt Lake City, Utah, all yesterday waiting for a place to open up. And I got a text from him this morning. He's finally on his way. So chances are I'm going to be sitting at the airport for a while tonight waiting for him to get there.
Oh dang, there's just so many moving parts to this. There's always something. You guys should have definitely vlogged all of this. This would have been entertaining to watch.
I have some of it. I started to. I got, just with everything going on yesterday, I got a little sidetracked, but I have some videos. I did do some vlogs.
I guess somebody should have been hired for that. You got enough on your plate. Somebody else should do that.
I've got some videos of me, at the first airport. I forgot the second airport, but I got a video, or I did a short clip once I got to the hotel. But, during race day was kind of tough.
Yeah, that's a lot going on. All right, so overall, good weekend, success, leaving with a red plate, shared red plate, but a red plate, which is a good start, especially as we head east. Obviously, we all know sand is your specialty, so looking forward to that. Yeah, that's
so excited.
Fun. And you haven't ridden any of these tracks yet, right? Just Walton.
No, other than Walton, no.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. I think you'll enjoy the east ones. They're pretty sweet. They all do a great job. All right, I think that's it. That's all. We can wrap it up there. Appreciate the time, and see you next weekend. And we'll follow along. Keep us updated.
Absolutely. I always have stories for you.
Awesome. Thanks. So a little update. Right after we finished recording, she shot me a text saying the flight for Sunday doesn't actually work out. It wasn't the flight they thought it was. And they're currently in a mad scramble to try to figure that out. There's been some recommendations, maybe flying into Regina, maybe flying into other places, the US or in Canada, maybe even driving. So we'll keep you in the loop on this as it develops, because as of right now it's a little up in the air, which is exactly what we were looking for in a podcast, in a Monday podcast like this. So we'll keep you updated throughout the week on Spec Moto on the Instagram and on the website. So stay tuned. We'll see how Jordan ends up in Canada for round 2. Next up, we'll add in Zach Ufemzef here. We'll chat with him a little bit on how his day went.
Yeah, so first moto, ended up taking the sight lap, and I think that was the wrong move. I guess I wanted to see how slippery the dirt was, and there was only a couple guys that ended up going out. So when I come back, I just I trusted the concrete too much and didn't necessarily put into thought that my tire was all muddy. So I just spun so bad.
Oh
So
no.
I came into the first corner like 30th. Made some good passes on the first couple laps, and I think it was the third lap I went down, and probably the worst thing you can do is fall in the mud. So
Mhm.
hands right into a mud hole, and when I put my hands on the bars, it was just like the grips were 4 times the size now. So the rest of the moto was just trying to manage and survive. So just slowly picked off as many guys as I could, and I made it back to 11th. So it was all right. It was just a little bit of a bummer that you lose so much track time on those first couple laps. So it
Yeah.
was a bit frustrating, but we managed and we were all good. Bike was good. So going into the second moto, it had dried up. The track was looking good. So ripped a sweet start. All my practice starts were dialed, so it was nice to get that on the second moto. And yeah, like running third was sick. It's so nice having that clear track position, and you could just do whatever you want and run the pace. So that was pretty sick. I was pumped on that, and just cool to show that I've still got the speed to run up there. So
Yeah.
the pace is obviously pretty gnarly. So we held it for as long as I could, and then the rest of the pack kind of came. But all in all, it was still sick, and had some good battles trying to pass the guys back, but
Yeah.
shuffled back a little bit, and then kind of got a second win towards the end and made another pass for 8th. So yeah, overall it was a sick moto. I was just pumped on the whole first half to run up there with the boys.
Yeah, that's so awesome. It was an exciting moment seeing you in third. And did you think like coming into the season, obviously like you're fit or you're not fit or you're ready or you're not. Did you kind of have a feeling that this year you were in that kind of realm, or was that like kind of a surprise?
No, I mean, I've been putting in a lot of hard work, and obviously with the health and everything, but that's kind of behind us now, and
Mhm.
and I know where I'm at fitness wise, and it's definitely much better than it's been in the past. So speed wise, I've been feeling good. I just obviously haven't run up front much at all. So I wanted to come into the season to kind of turn some heads and whatnot, but didn't really know where I would stack up. Obviously, it's pretty stacked this year, so no, I was pretty pumped when I was able to do that.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So we saw last year I think it was last year, you put out a video kind of talking about your health and what you were doing to kind of like get it under control. Can you give us a little update on that right now? Like how is that? It seems like it's getting better and you're on a better track. You're expanding a little bit in the food group. So can you give us a little update there?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the right track. So I've been sticking to a lot of the same things, pretty hardcore,
Mm-hmm.
and that has seemed to be working very well. So everything I do is monitored and calculated and broken down. So we've just been sticking to it, and it's been working out well. And now I've got a little bit more leniency. Like literally last year, I'd have a granola bar with carbs, and it would wipe me out. Like I would feel terrible.
Wow.
And now we've gotten to the point where I think me and Jim were testing. It was like 150 carbs on race day, and it was like nothing even happened to me. So
Oh, that's good.
um, it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're in that position, it definitely is a big difference. So um, we're on the right track, and things are going well. And I'm able to, like last year, I was literally just riding, like I would do 15-minute sessions during the week, and that's all.
Mm,
And so now I'm riding, cycling, working out, back to how I was before all this happened. So
okay.
yeah, things are going well.
That's great. And it's showing. So that's showing positivity. So it's obviously working. So that's great to feel that under your belt. Let's talk a little bit about I want to talk about two things. Maybe the Mr. Lube collab because that's really cool and great for the sport all around and great for you. And then also the vlogs. Do the two play a part in each other? Like, let's talk about how the Mr. Lube thing came up and then maybe get into that.
Yeah, so we'll start with Mr. Lube. Yeah, basically, obviously, privateer life. The biggest grind of that is trying to find supporters and stuff like that. So I just put my head down and sat down and set a lot of time aside to reach out to different companies and different brands and stuff like that, and trying to put into thought like what I can actually offer these guys rather than just a tag on my Instagram, or like your general moto people that get support and they're like, okay, I'll throw a tag on Instagram, but what are they really getting out of it? Nothing. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to try and think what I could do to provide some value, and so reached out, and I thought Mr. Lube would be a good collab, just with, we're traveling all across the country. There's Mr. Lubes all across the country. Everyone's going to be driving. Could be a good way to tie in moto and, motorsports essentially, with Mr. Lube. So we started talking, and no, they were pretty excited about the whole motocross. They didn't really know much about it. So I sat down with them and explained the whole Triple Crown series and how things work, and what it looks like as part of my program, what it's looked like in the past when I was on teams. And they were super interested and thought that it was a good fit, that Mr. Lube and the transportation vehicle could tie into motocross. So that's basically how it came about. We kept talking, and before you know it, I've got a Mr. Lube band wrap and showing up to the races with Mr. Lube as a sponsor.
That's awesome. That's a big deal, and it's also a big kudos to you for realizing that. There's like, obviously it's very time consuming, so there's that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
For those, some do know that is the good key to making a program like yours work, but just being able to pull it off is huge. Like it's huge for the sport. It's huge for everyone. There's now Mr. Lube people with eyes on the sport, and everybody can benefit that, because maybe next year there's 2 privateers with a Mr. Lube program, which would be awesome.
Exactly. The more outside supporters looking into the sport, the better. Like, it's always good to see outside industry, and even from this weekend, like Mr. Lube Canada and 2 Mr. Lube employees already reached out to me from the weekend, so that was super cool.
That's awesome. That's congratulations is in order for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and even showing up to the track, like everyone that saw me was like, "Yo, it's Mr. Lube," and I'm like, "It's working." Like everyone is talking about Mr. Lube already. Like, I'm pretty excited, and it's pretty cool. So it'll be good going forward throughout
for
the
sure.
season, and giving updates to the Mr. Lube affiliate that I've been talking to, and he's super cool, and yeah, we talk quite a bit, so it's been good.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's for sure a result of your hard work. I think they're, like you said, they need to see a value, in a tag most of the time isn't that. So let's talk a little bit about the privateer life. Like it's very exciting every day. I don't know if I'm the only one or how many people are watching it every day, because it is like you do a really good job of not just like showing the same thing every day. Like you do cut in new fun things, you're adding characters to it. Like it's great. So talk a little bit about like how hard that actually is, because I know how hard that probably actually is. And yeah, go ahead.
There is a lot of work that goes into it, but it's rewarding. Like even this weekend, like people that just come up and they're like, "Oh, I can't wait to watch the vlog," or "I was at Revelstoke the other day," and they're like, "So you vlogging today?" And it's just like, man, people are watching it, and it's actually pretty cool. But it is a lot of work. Like there's definitely some days where I'm like, dude, I do not feel like doing this, or I don't have much from the day. Like, but it's showing. It's important to even post, like, just because you got to just keep it going, and people, like, if you miss a day, they're on you right away. So that's pretty funny that people actually care. So, but I try and I'm trying my best, and it's a lot of work, but I think it's working and it's paying off. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you kind of just treat it like a job kind of thing, and just turn it into like, this is part of what I need to do to be able to go racing, I think that it helps a little. That's awesome. Do you watch?
I mean, it is part of the job.
Yeah,
like that's kind of one of the main things as a privateer you got to do. So
I think all of the athletes on the line that aren't doing it are leaving money on the table, in my opinion, which obviously I can talk a lot of game in the back and never really went pro or anything, but like racing and doing that is a lot of work. I just do that part, and it's a lot of work, so I can't imagine also racing, but spending a little bit of the money that you make on maybe someone to do that for you is, in my opinion, an investment, but not everybody
Yeah.
feels it that way. But I think it is. I
No,
think it would pay
I
for
agree.
itself, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Curious if you watch any other vlogs. Like, are you a fan of watching, like, even outside of moto, or no?
I am. I'm not. I'm gonna be honest. I don't have much time to watch YouTube vlogs right now, and
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do more YouTube vlogs, but this is already taking enough time as it is.
Yeah.
So I just watch other riders that are doing, or even other sports. Like, there's some snowboarders that are kind of doing the same thing. Where I basically got inspiration from this vlog, from other people.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, and just honestly, like the amount of times I've seen all of a sudden someone blow up on Instagram from just like posting what they're doing every day.
Yep.
And 3 months later, I'm like, holy smokes, this person has grown so much since the first time I saw him. Like, why can't I do that? Like, how different are they from me? And they're not, they're just putting in the work to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something that I've always kind of wanted to do, but I always held myself back from doing it. And now I'm just like, you know what? I don't even care. I'm just going to do it. So
yeah, for sure. The commitment is showing. It's appreciated on this end of Instagram. I like watching them. So I guess we'll wrap it up there. I appreciate your time, and we'll see you in Manitoba next weekend.
Yep, next weekend, Pilot Mound will be there. Mr. Lou and Jack Carter will be there.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Next up, we'll insert the chat with Kaylie Kerr. She'll start off by telling us about her first and second motos.
They both went really good. I mean, we got the whole shot first moto and ran away with the moto win, and then moto 2, second place start, got into lead, and got past a few times. I mean, there was a 3-way battle all moto, and it went good. P1 and P3 for second overall. Good day for first round.
Yeah, and technically you guys are tied going into round 2, so are like red plates being printed?
Yep, they're ready to go.
Oh, perfect. Are they on the bike already, or are we waiting?
We'll wait. They'll get put on the weekend.
Oh, perfect. And how has it been so far on the team? Like, obviously MX101 has supported females in the past, but this is kind of like the first like full season kind of ride. How has it been? How's the atmosphere? How are the guys?
Yeah, the team's been great. I mean, it's been super awesome having all their support and everybody. I mean, the boys coming off, being able to talk to them about the track and all that, and there's such a great like positive attitude under there, and everybody's all happy and works together. So it's been really good. It's helped me lots, and yeah, it's been good. I'm excited for this year to be under the tent with all of them.
Yeah, it's kind of awesome. It's kind of cool that you've returned to like the brand that I feel like if I like picture you in a gear, it's FXR. So you're back in that. How's that been? How's it been going to rekindle that relationship again?
Yeah, that's been super nice. I love the FXR gear, so that's been great to get back in it. It fits nice, super durable. It's been super nice to get back with that. So, and FXR helps me with the snow side of things, so it's great. Now I can be with them all year long, which is super nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's cool that they do that. They have so many. They've grown so much, and I guess next weekend we're going to their home province where they started, which is kind of cool. I'm sure we'll run into some faces there. I think something that's pretty interesting that a lot of the WMX riders are going through right now is watching their families kind of play a very different role this year, where last year it was like maybe mom was cooking, making sure helmets and stuff were prepped, doing all the logistics of racing. Dad was getting the bikes ready, doing all the like gate prep and all that kind of stuff, where there's a couple of the WMX riders this year where I saw the dads and the moms just kind of walking around much slower than I've seen them in the past. How have your parents taken on this new role?
Yeah, well, that's pretty funny because, yeah, my parents are bored. I mean, last year my mom was my mechanic all year, and Dad helped out at a couple races. So, like, normally she's coming up to the gate with me, packing the gate and all that, and now she's all stoked she can just go watch. But I know Dad's bored. He walks up under the tent. He goes to go do stuff to my bike. He's like, oh, yeah, I don't got to do that. So, and then he took on the role this weekend because he didn't have anything to do to go do some track work and help out. So that was pretty cool for him.
Yeah, we seen he was running the dozer. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so that was good for him.
Well, the track was great, so he gets some credit there for sure. That's awesome. So what's the plan for the rest of the season? You're going in with the red plate. Are we just keep doing what you're doing? Anything changing? Anything exciting coming up?
No changes, nothing exciting. We'll just keep on doing the same thing, try to do my best every weekend, and hopefully we can keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, for sure. That's sweet. Great ride, and we'll probably chat again before the season's over, of course.
All right, yeah, thank you.
Perfect, thanks. All right, next up we have Kevin Tyler, which MX101 Yamaha. 2 out of the 3 red plates going into round 2, which is a huge success. But as we all know, there's a little bit of a damper in the 450 class. We had a mechanical issue. The team is keeping a little bit tight-lipped on what actually the mechanical issue was, which is totally fine, totally fair. So here's Kevin Tyler starting off with Ryder Melanowski's round 1.
Yeah, so Ryder came up. Obviously, very different styles between him and PK. It's almost like a Seb version 2.0 in terms of, Preston being super smooth, energy conserving looking. Everybody kind of talks that he doesn't look like he's going that fast. Ryder, obviously the complete opposite. Always looks like he's doing 1 million miles an hour. Lots of body English and exciting to watch, no doubt. First moto got off to an okay start and, was running probably in that 5-6 position, I think, and had a crash, a pretty good one that, left the bars bent and tweaked a little bit. And, I think he broke the kill switch off the bike as well, but never quit. You know what I mean? Like he was kind of riding pretty hard. We had to tell him to kind of simmer a little bit as he had the bike steaming a little bit during sort of mid-moto, and but he kept charging right until the last lap, cross line 9th. Obviously he wasn't happy with that. That's nowhere near where he wanted to be or knows that he can be. Second moto grabbed a huge start. Him and PK rounded turn 1 and 2, and then in the, I guess it would be the second corner, kind of went in a little hot, stood it up, and then came to a bit of a stop, and Way got into him, and they both went down. He got up a little bit quicker than Way, and got charging, and then just put on a charge, and passed his way up for third. The kid's a fighter, third, and he was still pissed off. So he knows that he had the pace to run up front all weekend, and that's certainly where he plans to be. I think Manitoba is going to be a great track for him with the big floaters and him scrubbing lower than anybody.
Yeah.
He's really going to enjoy it. So I would say a reasonable day for Ryder. I know he wasn't happy with it, but all things considered, every day isn't going to be perfect.
Yeah, like a 9.3 for 4th overall is a pretty solid points.
Yeah, super.
Going into round 2.
It was exactly. Yeah, it was super solid. Ifs, ands, or whats, take away that first moto bobble, and it probably was an overall for the day podium. Overall podium for the day. For sure. And that class, there's just behind him, there's such like a pack that are going to be so like all over the place every moto. Like there's going to be little consistency back there, so it's going to be interesting to see what's happening like behind him points wise. Absolutely.
And can we talk a little bit about his deal? So obviously we've seen him in SMX on the Club MX bike. Can you talk about 1, how it kind of came together, and 2, what it actually looks like with both programs?
Sure. Yeah. Obviously it's a little bit unique. Ryder and his dad Robbie sort of reached out last summer and wanted to do the Eastern swing of the series. Asked if we could kind of help, and so we had him pitted sort of beside the truck and helped out where we could with parts and support and advice and whatever we could kind of help out with. And they were both awesome to deal with. So, we were talking about what we could do for this coming summer, and he'd kind of always been on my radar and plan, when Racine left, that Ryder would kind of be the guy to replace that spot. And then, the SMX stuff, and he's killing it down there, and it was a bit of a support deal with Club, and he showed enough that they signed him to a 2-year deal. His deal was SMX for the winter, and then it's going to be Loretta's for the summer, and then full time next year with Pro Supercross, and then pro outdoor motocross outdoors for club. So it kind of left him a little bit open this summer, and he still wanted to race. He wanted to come up, and they talked to Daniel Blair and kind of sold him on the idea of him coming up here to race for the summer instead of, kind of just training for most of the summer and doing the combines and the couple of Loretta's qualifiers. And Daniel and I talked about it, and Daniel was a huge proponent of, getting him out racing and getting him more experience and more gate drops, and really felt like Canada would be a great fit in terms of, racing up front, racing longer motos, racing people that are, going to be as quick or quicker than he is week in and week out. And so we were able to put the deal together. So I guess it's looking at it from the outside, it's a bit more of a loaner deal. Like, he's on a 2-year deal with club, and they were good enough to allow him to kind of go and race. I mean, they did it in Australia. He went and raced for the Yamaha team over there in the Supercross series. And I think he's sort of the first of the club facility riders that they've sort of let out of house to kind of go and race in other places and do other things to try and, expand him and make him a better overall rider racer. So yeah, super fortunate. And yeah, so this summer he's with us for the 8 weekends of the Pro Nationals. In the middle, he's actually going to swap back to his club bike to race Loretta Lynn's down there on that. But while he's up here, he's a full member of the team riding on all of our equipment.
Logistically, Loretta's will be like a lot. That's a long week, and there's a long week. I guess he probably won't ride ECAN here or anything. Would he ride Walton during the week?
I mean, we haven't even talked that far. Probably not.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of, we can see how that goes. I
Yeah.
mean, we've set the dates on what needs to happen, which are the eight rounds. The week leading up to ECAN and the week leading up to the pro stuff at Walton is always kind of a let's see how it goes kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's got a hectic little travel schedule for sure. But the kid's a racer and wants to race, so
that's awesome.
How can you not let him?
Yeah, it's a good thing to see. Is there has it been chatted about if he's in the championship, points are close? Is there any possibility he doesn't go to Loretta's, or Loretta's is a priority?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think that there's any way that he doesn't go to Loretta's.
Yeah.
That was the deal that Daniel and myself, or club and myself, have made. So I wouldn't, if anybody knows me, I don't go back on anything I say. So, yeah, I mean, would it be stressful if he's leading the championship and he heads off to go to Loretta's? Absolutely. But, we know what our sport is, right? And I'm a firm believer that, riding on a Tuesday, whether it's racing at Loretta Lynn's or practicing, inherent risks, and it's just part of what we do.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get into our next rider on our list here, which would be Kaylie Kerr. How is that? Is this the first time for a full season you've had a WMX rider?
No, and you should know this.
I should know this. That is true.
You should know this. This is almost embarrassing for you, but
I know it's my first day.
I'm gonna let you. It's your first day, so I'm gonna let it slide. Kennedy Lutz.
Oh,
we raced
we
raced the East back in 2017 with Kennedy Lutz.
Yeah.
So it is not the first time.
Oh yeah, been there, done that.
but no. So obviously, Kaylie. Rode incredibly well. I mean, self-admittedly struggled a little bit in some of the preseason stuff. I think just hype, nerves, all that fun stuff. But she's really started to kind of feel comfortable and gel, and showed what she's actually capable of this weekend on the big stage, which I guess is when it really matters, if you will.
Yeah.
Total dark horse. I don't think anybody expected her to do what she did and won the first moto. And then, second moto was right in that battle for that three-way battle for the lead. I think she kind of gassed herself a little bit, trying to ride a little bit maybe above her pace or comfort level, or maybe she was thinking overall, whatever it was, she kind of started to struggle a little bit there mid to end of the moto.
Yeah.
And then just kind of laid up a little bit for the third overall and tied Jordan on points for the day, and heads into round 2 sharing the red plate. So
Yeah.
pretty darn successful.
Pretty good. How does that work logistically? Do you have the red plates printed in the truck for the guys and the girls, or do you have to overnight them?
In the truck, ready to go.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's sick. A lot of people have said no, we order them in. I like that. That's awesome. All right. What do we think about Preston Kilroy? Just steady Eddie. Did what exactly we expected.
Old PK does what PK does.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. Came in. I don't know if it's under the radar, but I mean, at the Sand Lee round, he kind of struggled with his starts, and I mean, rode well, but I think there was a lot of, oh my goodness, Ryder, smoked him is a strong term, but Ryder beat him, and is everything good? Is whatever. And yeah, came into this round. Obviously, Calgary plays into his super comfort level of the soil type and all that sort of stuff, and went out and set top qualifier time. Was up front early in the first moto. Didn't quite get the whole shot, but I think within 3 turns he kind of passed Dylan, and then those two put on a good battle. Dylan actually got around him, and then PK found his way back by, and then second moto full shot and led wire to wire. So yeah, I mean, it was as good as it can get.
Yeah, it's a good day for him for sure.
Yes.
It's great to have him up. He almost every couple years we get an American up here that you kind of keep forgetting that he's American. Like I keep forgetting. Like I just feel like he's just a Ontario kid or something,
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, this is his 3rd year with us, and he's basically Canadian now.
Yeah, he's sign up. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I guess we'll get into the one what everybody's probably listening for. Let's get into Jess Pettis. What do you got?
Yeah, so I mean, day started great. He was fastest qualifier by, I think, 0.01 seconds or something. I mean, him and Dylan were basically tied on time, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
First moto led almost all of it. I mean, I'm not sure, looking at the stats, how many laps we did, whether it was 16, 17, somewhere in that name. And I think he led all but 3 of them. Made a pretty good mistake coming out of a corner just after the finish line, got pretty sideways, lost all of his drive. And, Dylan was right there hunting him and executed the pass. And then, JP returned the favor and hunted him down for the last 3 laps. And they crossed the finish line about as close as they'd been for the entire moto. Moto 2, Jess didn't get off to the greatest start. Was back a little bit, made some passes, had a tip over after the finish line. Kind of got run over a little bit. Well, just the bike did, and picked it up, fired. Bike made it 20 or 30 feet and expired. And unfortunately, it was a mechanical, and he was done for the day. So obviously super disappointing. I mean, I think you mentioned it, frustrations were high, on what was almost one of our best days ever. You know what I mean? We had the red plate in WMX, red plate in 250, and certainly had a shot at the red plate in the 450 class. And with the mechanical, I mean, everybody on the team felt it. You know what I mean? Like there was nobody happy under the tent at the end of the day. I mean, everybody's all in on the entire thing. So yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, it's one of those rare things you see under the blue tent. I feel like it's everybody's kind of a little bit. It's not the regular vibe that I've felt under there.
No, it's not. But I mean, it's it's everybody is filled with passion. This is what we do. You know what I mean? We're all in this to win, and when it doesn't go your way, you can be bummed. When it goes the way that it went for him, where it's the bike that let him down, and it's that extra heavy, right? Like, for sure.
Yeah, so I guess we won't ask too much about the bike itself? Because it seems pretty clear it's a mechanical and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mechanical, and that's all we're gonna get. So.
Yeah. So can we ask, as a team manager in this situation, obviously we're seeing it in the States and stuff, and we're not gonna call like Kawasaki and ask them what's up with Chase, but we can ask you as like a team manager, so we're all kind of aware there's like that's a shitty part of racing. Mechanicals happen. As a team manager, how do you kind of regroup with the whole team and kind of reassure everyone that, all right, round 2 is a new page. We need to get back to our MX101, like good mood, good vibes. Like, do you have a team meeting? Is there like a group chat? Is there like, we're not saying nothing, everybody knows the job? Like, what do you do as a team manager this week leading into next week to make sure, like, I think it's really important with you that the vibe is good. I think you understand that that's important. So obviously you would take this serious. Like, what would you do this week for, like, in that scenario?
Yeah, I mean, we sat down as a group. I mean, in terms of around Jess, with Jess, not with the other riders per se, and kind of went over, what the failure ended up being, what the corrective action is going to be, and the plan moving forward. We had that Sunday night. Obviously, it's racing, and when a part fails, you do your best to reassure that this is what we're going to do, but it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it's definitely the unfortunate part of racing. And moving forward, obviously, you just reassure everyone and make sure to avoid the same thing over and over.
Yeah, I mean, it might be easier if it was, if you could point the finger, that somebody had done something, you know what I mean? But when it's a mechanical part failure, it makes it tough.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a short series, so it makes it even more of a pain, but it's racing. Anything can happen. Right.
Yeah, it is racing and anything can happen.
Yeah, it's not impossible. Okay, so we'll move on a little bit. Overall, how was the first round? Obviously, 2 classes out of 3 went very well. How would you describe kind of the whole thing heading to Manitoba?
Yeah, I mean, from a series point of view, I thought they did a really good job. I mean, I think Calgary was the tidiest and neatest that I've seen. Mm-hmm. They'd obviously done a pretty decent job with promotion because there was way more crowd there this year than there was last year. Yeah. The racing was good in every class. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, there was obviously some glitches with the timing and the system being not as user-friendly as what everybody was used to. Mm-hmm. But on a slight positive from that, there's some information available in that timing that hasn't been available in the past, which I thought was kind of cool in terms of as the moto was going, you were able to click on a rider and see the lap times for the race, like each lap that they'd done already. So that was kind of neat and handy to sort of see what was shaking. You could get a quick breakdown is that guy in fourth really catch it? Like he looked, in the first moto, for example, Koulis closed in on Seb pretty quickly and made the pass, but was he going faster than Dylan or Jess? And you were able to kind of click and see exactly what lap times he was doing comparatively. Whereas, in the past you're just kind of having to manage gaps and things like that. So, yeah. There was a couple positives on that, but yeah, I mean, overall, it was close to being an unreal day, and just need to turn it around and make it an unreal day in Manitoba next Sunday.
Yeah, perfect. That's the goal. That's how it goes in racing. I appreciate the time and thanks for chatting, and we'll see you in Manitoba.
We'll see you in a few days.
Sounds good. Thank you.
No.
All right, next up we have Steve Sims from Kawasaki SSR. Last year he was with Walton Kawasaki as Phil Nicoletti's mechanic, so he's a 450 champion mechanic going into the first year. Back as a guy with a team with SSR in it, Steve Sims Racing, since Gas back in the day. Steve has 2 American kids, and here he tells us about meeting them for the first time, and Seb making his 450 debut, which looks very successful. Here's Steve Sims with his 3 riders and how his round 1 went.
All right, yeah, Vincent Way. I mean, I met him for the first time Friday morning, so it was good to meet him and Nick, and we kind of just hit it off. Got working on bikes. They brought up some last minute stuff with them, and then went into the weekend. We did a track walk together on Saturday night after amateur day. Kind of rolled into the weekend or into Sunday, I guess, and then Sunday qualifying was okay. Just kind of working out some bugs, and I think just getting used to track and everything else. And then first moto was a pretty good start for him. Kind of just worked his way into third and kind of just stayed there. Then the second moto was a little more interesting for him. I mean, he got caught up in second turn crash with rider Malinowski, I believe. And then in the fourth corner, a guy fell in front of him again, and they tangled. He went over the bars, which bent his shifter. And then just before mechanics area on that same lap that he was going to pull in, he crashed in a corner. And then right after that, he pulled in the mechanics area to get his shifter straightened. So it was a pretty hectic first lap of the second moto for him. Don managed to get the shifter straightened enough for him to get out there. And then it just kind of had to take time to get regrouped and pick it up. He finished 12th in that one. So it's kind of where it ended up. Wasn't ideal for him to be on the ground 3 times, but racing's racing.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't quit, so you can't ask for anything more.
Yeah, for sure. Like getting a 7th overall in your first Canadian national and a track you've never ridden in a team you've never met is pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah, could it have went better and should have probably, but I mean, when you take into consideration 2 of the crashes had absolutely nothing to do with him.
Yeah,
it's kind of comes just racing, and he was probably just thinking about pulling into mechanics area when he fell the third time, and that was it. So I mean, he pulled in, they worked on it, and never gave up, and went back out, and put his head down, and charged back. So that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good start for the season. What about Cade? He obviously podium overall, kind of a great start. Good spot for the championship. Not too far back. How was that meeting? And did you guys know him before, or how did that all go down?
Yeah, no, same thing. We all met Friday briefly in the hotel lobby, and then talked to him again Saturday when they all came to the track. He just kind of soldiered along. He just went out and practiced. I think he was 4th or 5th in qualifying, and then nothing crazy. I guess you could say he just kind of stayed out of trouble, and 4-4 on the day for 3rd overall. So from that side of it, it was good for him. And I think between the 2 of them, they've got more to show for sure between the 2 of them.
Yeah, for sure. It was like, it's always interesting first race. Like it's pretty unique situation too, meeting the team for the first time kind of at the race. Just like kind of getting the vibe down and stuff is also cool. Curious question, and if I'm not allowed to ask this, just ignore it. Are they on PC bikes or Kawasaki Canada SSR bikes?
They are on their own bikes.
Right.
Vincent and them came up with their stuff. They're on their motors and all that kind of stuff. So it was quite a deal to make work. Vincent's really was the main one that came in. We had worked on a deal for quite a while. So with that, they brought their deal with them, their bikes, their stuff. That way they're comfortable. They got their sponsors and all that. But I had enough time to give my guys heads up on what was happening. So it was good. The Kay Johnson side of it was a lot more last minute.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of slid in with the other deal because it's basically the same kind of thing. But he's more of a support rider than he would be a team rider, where Vincent's a full team rider for us.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And then also, how did, like, if you, whatever you can share, honestly, how does that, like, logistically work? We're hearing a lot of people are having trouble shipping suspension and motors. Like we saw Logan Leitzel basically show up with nothing on the beta, because everything got confiscated at the airport. How does that all work logistically for you guys? And will that be ongoing throughout the season, or have they sent enough for the full season?
No, we had to ship some stuff back and forth, but we are aware of it. I mean, things have tightened up here at the U.S. borders quite a bit in the last year. I mean, I had suspension sitting for 4 weeks with FedEx, and nobody knew what to do with it. It was, went through 10 hands before we actually got anything done. All I ended up needing was one piece of paper signed. Sat for 4 weeks doing it. So, yeah, I mean, anytime now you're shipping cross border, it's gotten very difficult. It's not necessarily the shipping side, it's the customs that get you.
Yeah.
And nobody really moves fast at that point. So you basically just need to make sure you ship stuff ahead of time early enough and have backup ready to go for if it doesn't show up.
Yeah, wow. That's kind of a logistical nightmare on that end, but it sounds like it's been working out so far. Like, everything was all put together at the races. The bikes were definitely not any of the problem this weekend for sure. All right, let's hop into 450. Seb made his debut. I think leading in, he was the one that everybody was saying the most, flying at the test track. I think he delivered. What do you think? How did his day go?
Yeah, overall it was good. I mean, second in the first qualifier, fourth in the second qualifier. He was happy. We made one change the entire from when we got to Calgary to when we left, and all we did was went from our regular mapping to basically an elevation map that was programmed in. That was just something he did in practice one. He went out, just wanted it, flipped it to map one, and away it went. So that was really the only change we did all weekend. So when you do that, it's good. The rider's comfortable. Moto 1, I think nerves maybe got a little to him. We both came off and had a laugh. He goes, man, I don't know what I was doing out there. I said, well, that's good because you got fourth not knowing what you're doing. So I know what you can do when you ride.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a funny little joke between us when he came off. He was still happy, which is good. He wasn't beating himself up. And then, second moto, I guess, tangled bars right out of the gate with somebody. Ended up, 100 feet down the straightaway laying on his side. So I guess he really had nothing to do but pick up and go. And he just put the hammer down. And as lap times went up for most guys, his lap times kept dropping and dropping. And by the checkered flag, he had picked off into fourth. And was only a couple seconds behind third at that point.
Yeah, that was an impressive moto for sure. Definitely. Like, I didn't expect. Everybody said he was great on a 450, and I hadn't seen it yet. And holy man, he just, like, not to call him a small guy, but he's a small guy riding a big bike, and he rides it so well. It's so impressive.
He's definitely a small guy, but I mean, from when Rhett was talking to him to start this deal to where he is now, I mean, when it got handed over to me to start dealing with it, some of his winter goals were bulk up, put on some weight, get some muscle, and he was definitely pretty small the first time I seen him. And I know who Zeb was, and we talked and everything for years, but by the time I got to Florida to do more testing with him, he had definitely gotten bigger, stronger, and it was visible right from then. And he's just been putting in the work and lots of riding, lots of training, and just putting his head down to do what he can do. So it's been really good.
Yeah, he's definitely bulked up from last year. Last year he scrawny little guy, not to talk shit on him. Hopefully he doesn't take offense to that. Like, I'm sure he'd say the same.
I basically told him that. I said, you're in the big back class now. You got to put the weight on now and work, and then so that the early summer training, you're ready to go for it. So he put his head down and did it. And when he was in Florida, he was where he needed to be.
Yeah, that's awesome. So again, another question, like, ask, answer, however, last year, Phil, it was pretty known that he brought a lot of parts in himself, and you guys kind of worked together to build him what he needed. How did any like connections or anything get built through that kind of helped build this bike, or is it kind of just like back to your kind of program?
Yeah, Phil brought a couple things with him, nothing too crazy. For this year, we went more back to our normal program and a couple little tweaks to it, just what we've learned now that we're into year 3 of that motorcycle. And so far, it's been good. So,
yeah, like
it's one of those
obviously.
things. It's like a Roxon deal, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the bike, year 1, you're learning. Year 2, there's a couple things there's some stuff you don't know. Year 3, you've went through a lot more stuff, and you just have a better understanding of what it likes, what it doesn't like, and you can start going again at it. So every year you can keep working with the same bike is usually helpful, unless it's way off. For us, we seem to be able to get it where we feel it's pretty good. Tim helps us with TCD suspension, and then we basically run the Kawasaki KX450 SRs, and that's what we run for the motor package. So Tim built us some linkages for our bikes. We did some last minute testing 2 weeks before well, I guess it was 1 week before we left, but 2 weeks before this race at Walton, and got a final setting all sorted out. That's where we're sitting now. So it was good.
Yeah, it's really good. The bike, like from my eyes, looked really good, and obviously we're seeing some US stuff going on, so it was obviously a question, but I don't know. I think you guys might have a different bike.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been a work, but I mean, Tim's put his head into it. It's been good. He's tried a lot of different things, and he was happy when we did testing with Sebastian down in Florida. Kind of got a baseline at that point. He rode it pretty much up until 2 weeks ago. Tim came up to Walton with us, did a final test, actually finished the testing right on the race bike, and it was good. So, I mean, we weren't too far off. We just wanted a little more comfort, a couple little things. Tim came, shuffled the shims around, and it worked his magic again, and away we went. So he was happy when he left, and on to Calgary we went.
Nice. Seems like it worked out. I think we're going to see some really interesting storyline pan out with him. I think I think it took him a lot longer in the 250 class to get his podiums and wins than it's going to take him in the 450 class.
Yeah, no, he's definitely going to be right there. I mean, we might have let that one slip on the weekend, but I mean, when you look at on paper, it's 4.4, but when you watch what he did from 100 feet outside of the gate, starting, he had to have been 10 seconds behind. It was a really good ride, so you got to take those when they come.
Yeah, for sure. It was great to see, and I'm excited to see how the season unfolds. And this weekend in Manitoba, I think that's it. I think we'll call it there. We'll wrap it up. We'll let you continue on your drive, and we'll see you this weekend in Manitoba.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye.
All right, that's a wrap for the first episode and the first round of the Canadian Nationals. Appreciate all the guys and gals that took the time to chat with us. I think it was it's harder than I expected to schedule out all the calls and get that all dialed, but I think it was worth it. I think there's some insight in there that we didn't know. We obviously could have called Preston and Dylan and got their winner takes or other people. You guys let us know what you want to hear on here, and if this is cool, or let us know if this is lame. Don't let us waste our time. Let us know what you think of this, what you want to see in the future, and how we can make this better, how we can tell more stories in the Canadian Moto Series. And at the end of the day, I think that'll help us all grow and elevate. So thanks for listening. Appreciate it. And thanks to everyone who came up to me at the round 1 and said something nice about Spec. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. We're trying. We're getting it done. And we'll see you, Manitoba.